Over the last few years, essential oils have risen in popularity and different brands have hit the market with growing force. Yet some outlandish claims have caused people to doubt the validity of the healing properties of these oils. Are these simply a form of snake oil, or do essential oils really hold value when it comes to health and healing? The first place to start may be realizing what essential oils really are. They are oils extracted from various herbs and plants that are highly concentrated. Just like we receive healing properties from ingesting plants, we can receive benefits from these plants through inhalation and skin absorption as well. Essential oils can be used in a variety of ways. Plants have the ability to adapt and form to what the body needs at that moment, which is something that prescription medicines do not have the ability to do. This is why with plant-based healing methods, there are usually no side effects unless you're allergic. So, just like a healthy diet and supplements, essential oils work with the body to induce the natural healing process instead of masking symptoms. In this episode, we will explore more about what can really be achieved with essential oils and how we can use them to promote good health. We will dive into the real purpose for these natural medicines, and we will answer those deeper questions you may have concerning this issue. Also, as we come towards the close of this series, please remember that your opportunity to own the silver, gold, or platinum package and support this mission is coming to a close, which means that this special discount we're offering along with all the bonuses is about to expire. So please take action today if that's something that you would like to be a part of, so you can help support this mission, help support us to continue to get our work into the world, and also support yourself with this tool to keep it in your library so you can continue to learn, watch, share with others, and join us as we go through with a group, a community that are committed to their healing and success, and we can learn these amazing health secrets together with the experts, with the doctors in our live question and answer calls, and inside the 55 key takeaway booklets and our extra DVD sets and our entire series. So please come with us in this extra stage of the journey and enjoy the benefits that will come into your life as you implement these helpful tools that are life-saving. Thank you so much. Just click the link below to learn more about how you can support our mission. Do you think there's a use for essential oils in psychiatry?
There is. There's one in particular that's had a lot of studies done. It's a oil that comes from lavender. It's called Selexon 80. And there's multiple lavender oils, but the Selexon 80 has been extracted and purified. And it's been shown to be an antidepressant as well as anti-anxiety relieving without frontal lobe suppression. In fact, it seems to enhance the frontal lobe. For instance, in people that have test anxiety, they'll take this lavender oil preparation. It's called Lavella or Selexon 80. And they will actually do better on the test. Their anxiety will be better, and they'll actually do better. So cognitively, they'll perform better than if they had the test anxiety without the lavender oil on board. And so there are things like that that we study. We've actually published studies on it ourselves, several of them. And it also helps people get off of benzodiazepines easier, the Valiums and the Restorils and the Xanaxes and those sorts of things that are so prevalently used, that are used for anxiety but suppress the frontal lobe and are going to cause more problems down the road.
Have you seen any people individually that have used lavender oil and they've got results like this?
Oh, absolutely. Well, we had a case in our last program that she was on Xanax for a while and then changed over to Valium in preparation for the program because that's a little easier to get off of. And she had been on this drug for years. And when she came to the program, we took her off it wisely through a weaning method and then replaced it with lavender oil. And she was able to successfully get off benzos, where previous to that she thought it was impossible for her to be able to get off it, even though she knew she was having bad effects from it. She thought she would have to be on this drug for the rest of her life, and her doctor thought that too. But now she's completely benzodiazepine free, and part of the solution, it wasn't just the lavender oil, but it was the physical exercise and the light and and also the spiritual component of the program that was very helpful for her to be able to get off that. But we actually did studies on, and it's one of our published studies, comparing in our own program those who would put on lavender oil versus those that we didn't in getting off of benzos, and we found that the ones with the lavender oil did better. So we know it's having an effect.
Let's talk about soothing things that exist in the plant kingdom. Let's talk about if somebody wants to soothe their state of mind. So I'm talking, I mean, that would tend towards anxiety or anxiousness or something else of that nature. What plants are good? I know that you've had some experience with essential oils, in particular oils, and you've used them clinically, and I really respect that you're willing to take a leap on that, because it's a little bit out of left field. Like you're a medical doctor, you're trained in psychiatry, you're working as a psychiatrist, you're doing these things with people, and then you're recommending and having them ingest things that are essential oils that would be considered woo-woo. So
yeah, one of the interesting things is that people can often use essential oils topically, and that can be helpful. For example, lavender, other people use things like frankincense, peppermint oils. So there's all sorts of essential oils that people are using for different things. One of the ones that we've found is often helpful for treating anxiety is actually lavender, but not just using it topically, but also ingesting lavender orally. And what we found is that often does help anxiety. And one of the things that we use to help wean people off benzodiazepines like Valium and Xanax and that sort of thing is giving them lavender oil orally so that they can ingest. That can help them to actually decrease their benzodiazepine use.
Really? So it's almost like it's working like a medication. Do you see what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I do see that clinically, that it often helps people to actually lower their anxiety and feel calmer. And frankly, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but we do know it works. People don't have side effects. They don't get addicted to lavender, and it doesn't make them cognitively dull like these benzodiazepines. And so I think it's a fantastic tool that we have in our arsenal now that we never had before.
And what's the derivative you use of lavender?
Lavella is often very helpful, and that's the one that we've used successfully.
Can people get that online? Or
oh yeah, you can buy it on Amazon or online very easily. I think a lot of health food stores have it as well now.
Now, the other thing that I've seen with essential oils is with my wife. So my wife went for 4 years without flying on an airplane due to debilitating anxiety. And as she improved, all of a sudden that feeling got less and less and less. And one day she said, "Jay, I think I want to come with you on this trip." And I about fell over because she hadn't traveled with me for 4 years on an airplane, going to conferences and going different places. We didn't take family vacation because she didn't want to fly. So it was all travel for primarily work and conferences. And I said, okay, well, let's get our toolbox ready. And one of those tools that we brought along was lavender. People love to call it the Swiss Army knife of essential oils because it's good for so many things, sunburns to sleeping better to, anxiety and calming the body down. And so we brought that with us. And as soon as she got on the plane, she got a little revved up, but she was able to control it. And she busted out the essential oil lavender right on the airplane right away. She rubbed it right on her wrist, she breathed it, she put it on the sides of her neck, and sure enough, it was enough to kind of let her cool down, to calm down. And after she had a successful flight of not freaking out or having an anxiety attack, that started to build her confidence. And so still to this day, she brings essential oils with her on an airplane just in case, and she will bust them out, but she continues to just improve. So I like and love looking at essential oils as it's a tool in the toolbox.
Implementing a low inflammatory, high plant-based diet is absolutely fundamental for someone that's battling anxiety, depression. One of the common markers is inflammation. One of the common reasons why these SSRIs potentially can work, and they only work in 30% of the depressed patients or depression patients, is because of the inflammation response. So what else can you do to lower inflammation? Well, essential oils. So when you look at the research, the citrus oils are profoundly effective at helping boost mood. Why? Does it? Well, yeah, it smells good, but they actually have a direct inflammatory response because of a chemical known as D-limonene, which is also a chemical that's been shown to kill cancer cells. So orange, neroli, grapefruit, lime, lemon, bergamot, petitgrain, these oils, there's so many of these different citrus oils that you could just diffuse into the air. But you know what? For those people who are really into essential oils, research has actually shown topical application works better than inhalation, which is profound because when you inhale in essential oils, those particles, those volatile organic compounds, stimulate the olfactory bulb, the olfactory mucosa, that lets your brain know that something's happening, and then there's a trigger. The trigger in the brain is to release a neurotransmitter or to stimulate something or to have some sort of biological pathway. We know that these oils, as they circulate through the bloodstream within minutes, just topical application over your abdomen, the back of your neck, always dilute with a good carrier oil, but they will get into your bloodstream. Next thing you know, within 20 minutes, your whole body is being benefited. Your entire body, brain, lungs, feet, all your body. So it causes an inflammatory calming, a soothing, and that has a better effect than just affecting the brain, which leads me to believe that depression is more than just the neurotransmitter issue of serotonin. Depression is more than just what's in your mind. It's a whole body effect.
Can you tell me how we can use particularly essential oils for depression and anxiety, and which ones, how do we use them, and what kind of results do people get doing this?
Yeah, so the anxiety, depression, that's debilitating. And the problem with our culture today is that people just run to their medical doctor, and the first thing that they do is get the antidepressant, the anti-anxiety drug, which are incredibly dangerous, both short-term and long-term, especially for children. And the easiest thing to do, rather than go that route right away, the easiest thing to do is to start using essential oils, because 99.9% of the molecules in those pharmaceuticals don't cross the blood-brain barrier, and they can be very dangerous. Essential oil molecules, the majority of them do cross that. So like you said, they influence our brain physiology and our brain chemistry and can give us profound results. So I would say the top 3 essential oils for feeling like, not for treating anxiety, but just supporting your body and when you have those racing heart, that anxious feelings, those depressed feelings where you just don't want to get out of bed and have a fog, and it's just affecting your relationships and your entire life. The top 3 essential oils that we've found that make the greatest impact the fastest are, number 1, Melissa essential oil. It's one of the most rare essential oils out there because of the distillation process and how much of the plant is needed to distill the oil. It's one of the most expensive essential oils, but pennies on the dollar compared to other treatments that people choose. And so Melissa oil is the best. Number 2 would be frankincense, like you mentioned. Frankincense is part of pretty much every protocol that you would use. I always do frankincense. And then the 3rd would be your favorite citrus oil. Because citrus oils are very unique because they're not steam distilled like the majority of essential oils. Citrus oils are pressed from the rind of the fruit. So to give you an idea, 1 bottle of, 15 milliliter bottle of a citrus oil, like lemon, for example, it takes 45 lemons to make 1 bottle of oil. And people will say, well, can't I just squeeze the lemon in the water? No, you can't, because the essential oil, the molecule, the monoterpenes is the major molecule of citrus oils that I'll talk about how they impact our emotions. But all the oil is in the rind, not in the fruit. So they have to be cold pressed. And so citrus oils would be the 3rd one, because citrus oils are very emotionally uplifting. So when you combine the Melissa, frankincense, and your favorite citrus oil, you're going to more than likely see incredible results. And one of my favorite testimonies, just because this is a close to home testimony, a great friend of ours, she was suffering from social anxiety, and she would not be able to leave the house. She couldn't go to the grocery store, and she's a mother of 3 children, and so she's ordering all her food online, delivered, all her groceries. Everything for the house is ordered online because she literally cannot leave the house because her heart starts racing. She can't breathe. It's that feeling of having a panic attack every time she left the house. And she turned to us for an essential oil plant-based solution versus going to get the pharmaceuticals. And that was about 2 years ago. And within about 2 weeks of using those oils, she started to go to the grocery store. She started bringing her kids to restaurants to go out to dinner. And it radically transformed her life. So from not being able to leave the house because of how she felt when she left, now she just uses her oils, she goes, she's totally cool. So it's very, very profound when you're using them properly and when you're using the proper oils.
Yes. I think there's definitely, especially with anxiety, there's a calming effect from the oils. Not just lavender, but most of the oils have some sort of calming effect. I think it has to do with their anti-inflammatory effect that they have. I think as they relieve inflammation in the body, there's just a calming. The body starts to settle. You know, nervous system settles. I don't know of any research backing that up at the moment, but I've seen it, I've watched it, and that's kind of my deduction of that. There are things like lavender oil that are very, very effective at lavender oil, rose oil, rosewood oil. Those things are very, very effective for anxiety. You just have a general calming effect. Another thing that's wonderful about that is that somebody with anxiety, what a powerful tool. Okay, to be able to go grab this bottle of lavender oil that will have 0 side effects, and they can take and just smell this, or put a little drop behind their ear, or a little drop under their nose, and start to settle their anxiety. They have something they can grab onto and actually use. They don't have to take a pill. They can just grab this, smell it, put a little on their body a little bit, and even if it doesn't take all the anxiety away, if it just takes the edge off and make it manageable, how powerful is that? You know, with depression, I would have to say there are some oils that just kind of lift the mood, and I would say ylang-ylang and lemon, rosemary. Those 3 would be ones I would look at, with depression. Here's something interesting. The Orthodox Church, it's our practice to cleanse a church by burning frankincense. And you do that before your services and so on and so forth. Partly is as an honor to God, it's an offering to God, correct? The other thing is to cleanse the sanctuary, okay? What we know is something interesting. Burning frankincense oil or frankincense resin, okay, in a room or in an enclosed space can reduce the airborne pathogens by 96%. Just burning the resin, okay? Now what happens if you take they make the oil out of the resin, so the oil is even more potent than the resin, correct? If you diffuse that, what's that going to do in the air? And so that just overall cleansing effect, I think, has a benefit in especially with depression, with just lifting the mood in the environment.
Amazing. That's incredible. Then I've seen people use frankincense for depression.
Right.
and they were taking it internally. They were just taking a few drops. For me, I just found it kind of, in a sense, a little bit too bizarre. And I do have a really skeptical side of myself in general. And it's like, oh, come on, is that true? How is that possible? But this woman, she, people will see her in this film series, and she's in tears of reflecting on her depression and the fact that this friend just said, try this and take a drop of it. She didn't believe in it. She's like, what? This is whatever. And then she just noticed the mood lift, and then every time she would take it. And how is it possible that frankincense, this oil, and somebody has depression, their lifestyle, they could have toxicity, they could have some kind of
other factors.
All these factors that contribute to depression. Why is it that drop of frankincense could help her? Or is it possible? I mean,
no, I think it is. I think it absolutely would be possible. I think it absolutely would be possible.
Improbable?
Improbable. There's all kinds of different types of swelling and infection that can happen in and around your head, okay, that can cause your brain to swell. Or there's swelling that could put pressure on the brain, okay? What's frankincense do? We know it's a very potent anti-inflammatory. So if you have anything like that going on, you're consuming this powerful anti-inflammatory. Interesting thing about oils is you can put them on the top of your head and they'll pass through the blood-brain barrier. You can consume them orally and they'll pass through the blood-brain barrier. I've been, when I worked in Ecuador, we did some different IVs with essential oils. Frankincense is one of them. And you feel phenomenal. That's all I can say. You just feel great,
like a superhero or something.
It's just about. I mean, you're not high. You know what I mean? But there's no pain. You feel good. Your mind is sharp. But you're not. You're not high. You're not floating. You know what I mean? But you're also not sedated. It's just everything is firing. Everything's sharp. When that was my experience. Everything was real sharp when after having that, and it lasted for a couple of days. It wasn't just like for an hour or two. It was for a couple of days. It was pretty amazing. It sharpened everything.
Why can this be so potent, and why can it flood the body and communicate with cells and permeate blood-brain barriers?
Yeah. So it's pretty simple answer. It's the distillation process on how essential oils are actually not extracted, but just distilled is the right word. So just for an example, a 15 milliliter bottle of lavender essential oil, it takes 35 pounds of lavender flower petals to just make one bottle of oil. So incredible amounts of biomass, plant material to create the essential oil. Like Melissa essential oil, one of the by far the most calming essential oils out there. We use it a ton for people who suffer from different anxious feelings, the rapid heartbeat, the heavy breathing, and they just can't relax and can't calm down. It affects every aspect of their life, and most people take pharmaceuticals for that. But Melissa oil, for 1 gallon of Melissa oil, it takes 6,000 pounds of Melissa plant leaves. So it's the amount of plant material that it takes to actually distill the oil, which makes the oil incredibly potent, which is why you only need just a few drops.
I dove into the essential oil world just to see if it was a tool that I could utilize for clients to help them improve. And what I found out was, yes, it's definitely a tool in the toolbox. And I look at essential oils as they are natural compounds that are essentially concentrated. So typically things that are concentrated down, like for instance, you'll take in the manufacturing herb supplement world, we'll oftentimes take with one of our formulas, we'll take milk thistle, take 18 kilograms and extract a certain compound within it, and we'll get 1 kilogram out of the 18 pounds of milk thistle. And I look at it the same way for essential oils, that you can take, rose petals or lavender and take a bunch of it and extract it and concentrate it down into a small liquid like an essential oil, where we can get the benefits of that plant or of that herb, but easier because it's more concentrated. So where I first started looking at essential oils was in the category of drainage, in the category of pathogen elimination, and in the category of detoxification. I don't believe that essential oils are there really to detoxify us, and what I mean by it is grab chemicals and pull them out. So, and it could be, I just haven't found that use clinically. Where I've found a really big benefit is in the drainage side of it and also in the pathogen elimination side of it. So there's things in the pathogen elimination side that are very beneficial, like worm seed oil, like lamacium essential oil, oregano oil. There's many different oils that are anti-pathogen, antiviral, antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal. And when we use these as a tool in the toolbox, it can help us improve our health. Where I found in the drainage side with essential oils is actually looking at things like frankincense. Frankincense, also known as boswellia, but more typically known in the essential oil world as frankincense. I like to call it the baby Jesus oil, but frankincense is an amazing brain drainer. So for somebody that gets headaches, brain fog, anxiety, depression, headaches, frankincense has been a huge help for my wife, myself, and my clients as well. So how I administer frankincense is I simply put a drop on my palm, put the drop on the palm, and then I'll put it on a temple, rub it across the forehead right above the eyebrow to the other temple, and then also put it at the base of the neck, right where the skull and the top of the neck meet. And then if you have any left on your hands, you can kind of rub it on the sides of the neck. That's a simple procedure that I do. I know there's essential oil experts out there that love to mix essential oils with carrier oils. So you put a little bit of the carrier oil in your hand along with a drop, kind of mix it up and then apply it. They feel like it's safer for the skin and it lasts longer and a little bit more effective. I find just from a convenience, I have yet to see anybody really react to frankincense, not to say it's not possible, but I find from a convenience, I just, put the drop on and put it on. And what I found with frankincense essential oil is that it really helps to open up the brain drainage pathway. So we now know from science, as of just a couple years ago, that there's a direct connection of the brain to the body's lymphatic system, that there's a direct channel, and we didn't know that in science before. So what that tells me is if you are struggling with any type of brain symptoms, brain condition, then we have to focus with working on draining the debris in the brain. Remember, when you're awake, your brain cells start to expand with fluid. They start to get hot. And it's when you're in deep sleep that these brain cells cool down and start draining the built up fluid. So if you don't sleep well, that's why you'll typically yawn, because it's trying to cool your brain down, opening that up and trying to cool it down. However, the key is we really need to support brain drainage. That's when all the fluids typically get drained out of the brain is while you sleep. So if you don't sleep great, we want to optimize sleep. But frankincense is something I've seen to be a great tool to actually assist in that brain drainage. Now, word of caution, in order to drain your brain, that means that the lymphatic system has to be moving, the body lymphatic. In order for the body lymphatic system to be moving, the liver bile duct has to be moving. In order for the liver bile duct to be moving, the colon has to be moving. So remember, it's not just about the brain, but they're all connected. And almost think of it like a funnel. The most narrow point of the funnel is the colon. So if you're not pooping, you're backed up, constipated, then that means the liver bile duct's gonna get backed up, that means the lymphatic system's gonna get backed up, and that means the brain drainage is gonna get backed up. So even using essential oil to try to open up that brain drainage, if we're not supporting the other pieces, you might not see the same benefits.
Fractionated coconut oil is an incredible carrier oil. And I didn't mention this in the beginning, but when we use a carrier oil with topical application of essential oils, a couple things happen. 100% of the essential oil is able to be absorbed into the bloodstream. Like they're volatile molecules, meaning they evaporate very quickly. So if you just put an essential oil on your skin and do not use a carrier oil, about a third of the essential oil is going to evaporate before it's absorbed. So when you dissolve the essential oil in the fat of a carrier oil, 100% absorption, And the likelihood of any type of skin reaction from the potency of the oil, if you have very sensitive skin, is likely not going to happen because you're using a carrier oil.
So good. That was the most helpful explanation I've heard of that, and it does make sense. The evaporation is an issue that we need to think about, and that's a really great way to overcome it. So, and fractionated, if somebody didn't have that and they had to use something else, would olive oil work or not?
Olive oil will work as long as the you can mix them in your hand, mix them in a roller bottle, but fractionated coconut oil is the best because it's always a liquid. The fats are broken up so it can be absorbed in your skin. Like if you use olive oil or virgin coconut oil or even avocado oil or some other type of nut oil, the fats are too big and the carrier oil just stays on your skin and then everything you touch is greasy, So fractionated coconut oil absorbs right into your skin. There's no residual residue and it's by far the best carrier oil.
People can get it from the supermarket or health food store?
Yeah, you can get it at health food stores.
Amazon?
Amazon, you can order it online.
But you've got to look, it's got to be not just coconut oil, but fractionated coconut oil.
Fractionated.
And fractionated means what?
Just means the fats are broken up. It's always a liquid regardless of temperature. So virgin coconut oil becomes hard, obviously, at about 74 degrees and lower. And 74 degrees and higher, it turns into a liquid, where fractionated coconut oil could be 20 degrees, it's still a liquid.
Yeah, Gina, what happened in your life due to oils?
Well, my life was pretty much changed overnight by frankincense, and so that's probably my favorite oil. And I took it because I didn't know anything about essential oils. I just bought some. They sounded really awesome because I love herbs and doing things more holistically. So I had been in a deep, dark place for quite a while, for a few years, and I just could not pull myself out of that. So I had people asking me about essential oils because I had just signed up and I didn't know anything about them. So I called Marty and I said, "Hey Marty, how do you use these oils?" And kind of told her a little bit about what some women were asking me about, and she said, "Well, just take frankincense and they just put a drop of it under their tongue." And I went, "Okay, that sounds really strange." But when I got off the phone with her, I went, "Hey, I have frankincense and I'm going to try that. So I have nothing to lose, right?" So I got that.
So you were just struggling with depression?
Well, I was in a deep, dark hole.
Yeah? Had you been taking medications for?
I had not. Yeah. I wanted to keep my mind clear, and so it was a conscious decision of mine not to go for medication. I had something really horrible happen in my background with medication before. So
Which was what?
Well, I had a child born without fingers on a hand because of medication I had taken that, I guess they could say it was never proven, but there was a big, claim brought to the courts and stuff, and they took that medication off the market. What
was the medication?
Bendictine.
Bendictine?
Yeah. And so that was my thing that happened to me, where I went, you know what? Medications are not always the answer, and there's got to be a better way for some of these things. And so from that point on, I really did not. I didn't want to use medication if I didn't have to. And I know that it's there, and so I tried not to go to a doctor, but I had been in a really bad place for so long that I eventually did go to the doctor. But when he told me all of the side effects of the medication, I decided I couldn't do that, because I had been so bad that I actually had suicidal thoughts a few times, and so I just decided that I couldn't do that, and because I have children, I did not want to leave them, and so when Marty told me to put that drop of frankincense under my tongue, I thought, that's so strange. How could that one drop do that when I know that medication takes 2 weeks to kick in? And so I thought, I'm going to try it. So I went in the bathroom, because I had never tried to drop oil under my tongue before. That was so strange to me. And I finally got that drop under there, and held it under my tongue for a while. It was very bitter, and I really didn't think anything of it. I thought nothing would happen. I went about my day, and a couple hours later, I just thought, hey, I wonder if I feel different. And I thought about it, and I went, oh, I kind of do feel different. And then I went, oh, that couldn't have happened that quick. And I didn't think anything else about it. And another thing that had been happening to me is I couldn't sleep at night. So for 2 or 3 hours, I would fall asleep. And then after that, I'd wake back up and I could not fall back to sleep. And I was awake. So another thing that I noticed was that next morning I woke up and I had slept for 6 hours. And that hadn't happened for close to 4 years. And the only thing I did different was put that one drop of frankincense under my tongue. And for me, I had suffered so much, and I felt so good when I woke up that next day. It was like a new beginning for me, and that changed my life. And from that day forward, I thought, I have an obligation to share these oils with other people, because I had suffered for so long and been in such a deep, dark place for so long that, to me, it was a miracle. And it also happened at Christmas time with frankincense. So anyway, I share that story with other women now, and I just love it. And it's changed my life. It really did change the way of my life. When they go in for an antidepressant, they usually end up on that, plus anti-anxiety, plus sleeping pills, and then you're on all the pills to wake up, right? And that counteract all of the problems that you're having from taking those pills. But with the oil, there's no side effects. And if I use an oil and it's not working how I want it to, I can grab another oil and use it. But I've worked with several women that's been able to get all the way off all of the medications. Some of them have had up to 12 medications. So, these oils they help your body get back into balance where it should be. And then you're not taking oils forever. But when you get on a medication, I know a woman who was on her antidepressants for over 20 years and wanted to get off them and didn't know how, and had been working with her doctors to get off. But with the frankincense, she was able to wean herself off. I'm not telling people to go off their medications. You need to work with your doctor, but she was able to get off all of her medications.
Really?
Yeah.
How did she feel after doing all that and going through that and getting off the meds?
She had been in her home for years and years and had gotten worse and worse, where she didn't really even come out of her home anymore. When she was off all of these medications, she was able to go out and get a job. So, it changed her whole life.
And this is a key, and I'll end with this, because it could be anything. Some people love frankincense, other people love geranium. You have to find what triggers a good response in you. And some people that battle with anxiety and depression have had trauma. And so if you've had a traumatic experience with a scent in the environment, you smell that in the future, it could trigger that traumatic experience. It could trigger post-traumatic stress disorder. And the best example I come up with is every time I walk by a woman who has a certain kind of perfume that reminds me of my first girlfriend from 20 years ago, it brings me right back. It brings me right back to Becky every single time. Like, I remember meeting her. I'll just walk by and I'm like, I just think of her. And the only other time I think of my first girlfriend is when I'm either doing an interview, sharing this example, I'm teaching on stage, or when I walk by a woman who has that perfume. Same thing, like if someone had a beautiful experience and there was rose petals and rose smell, and they had a beautiful date or a wedding or whatever, and that brings them back there all the time. You could trigger positive or you could trigger negative. So I say that to warn people, you could use oils to essentially imprint your mind for healing. So right now, if you make a determined effort to heal, then whatever it is, you're going to read a book, you're going to exercise, use an oil, and use it the same oil for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. And that oil will remind you for the rest of your life that, this is my depression solution. This is my suicide solution. This is my anxiety solution. Whatever it is, your favorite oil right now, if it's lemon, carry that with you. And I promise you, 20 years from now, you'll smell lemon and it'll remind you of this moment when you decided to heal. Okay? So as smell can trigger negative, they could trigger positive. And I want to encourage people to use them, to imprint their brain for the rest of their life. And that's power. That's power. Same thing with your kids. Same thing with your pets. You could do that on. You can imprint that because the mind will never forget.
All right, now depression, anxiety, what types of oils and how could they be used for that?
Well, number one, we know that lavender is a calming agent. So we're going to use lavender. We know that frankincense is combined with all different oils, so you're going to use frankincense. So you know those are bases right there. But you also want other things that are going to reduce stress on the body, like melissa, or something simple as lemon. Because one of the things that we've discovered very quickly, if you take peppermint and you take lemon, and I've challenged people to do this, just put a drop of lemon here and a drop of peppermint here, touch it to it, touch the roof of your mouth, you'll get an instant olfactory response, which reduces your anxiety and stops your rapid heartbeat, which calms you, which reduces cortisol, which gives the body a natural response. So these are things that you can do. Sandalwoods. Very effective. An oil called Tsuga is very grounding to the human body. And so each one you're looking at, like juniper. Now what I tell people is there's juniper and there's jasmines. And I do not recommend jasmine ever for a male in anxiety, because jasmine is very well documented in what it does to the male. Okay, male has no libido in the presence of jasmine. But juniper has another effect to you, because it enhances. So you have to take the oil. But if you want general, you're going to look at lavenders, Tsugas, you're going to get chamomiles, you're going to look at frankincense, and things along this line. But if you want something that imitates what the world is, valerian. Okay, valerian is immensely effective in psychological and neurological effects. So valerian by itself, you can use valerian, you can use vetiver's. But, so these are the amazing things. You can get back to the conifers, but I prefer like lavenders, lemons, peppermints, frankincense. These are the most effective, because you want not just what's the oil, but what does the oil do?
Well, remember with essential oils that there's some controversy over ingesting them. And I do believe you can do that, but you want to get some help and just understand what you're doing. But there's so much power with essential oils and putting it on topically. The bottom of the feet, there's so many, acupuncture and meridian points that access the whole body. It is a little thicker skin down there, but if you are sensitive, the foot is a great place. The abdomen has a lot of blood flow, a lot of blood vessels. So consider maybe putting it on the abdomen. But typically what I look at for essential oils is what is a major symptom or something that's holding you back, and then start doing some research of what would be some good essential oil tools to help. And essential oils are amazing and help to modulate symptoms so that you can live more of a normal life as you're moving upstream to fix and remove the source or sources. Remember, essential oils don't give you a passive, you don't have to go upstream and remove the sources. What it does though is it gives you freedom and oftentimes the ability where you don't necessarily need pharmaceutical medications, where you can use something natural like that to really help calm the body down, or if you're in chronic pain, to help reduce the pain or reduce inflammation or improve energy or improve sleep. There's so many different uses for it. So I do encourage you to explore that, because it is and can be a powerful tool or tools in your toolbox.
There's such a need for the education on how to use essential oils properly, because the majority of the time when people aren't getting the results, they're just not using them right. So
I like that.
Yeah.
And so, well, let's dive in there. I think it's a really great place to start. So how are they not using them right, and how would they use them correctly? Could you give me some key examples of how people are using them in the correct ways?
Yeah, so typically people think of essential oils as like their background or their experience would be like aromatherapy purposes. So just the aroma. Mm-hmm. When in fact, the aroma of essential oils is actually really the side effect of what they do. So it's a beautiful side effect because aroma has so many emotional benefits. Aroma is the fastest way to access memory and emotions. But the reason why we use essential oils outside of that, and the majority of the time therapeutically, is for the molecule benefits that are absorbed into our bloodstream when we put them on or ingest them. So when it comes to usage, a therapeutic dose is going to be about 3 to 4 drops. So if you're using 5 different oils, you want to use 3 to 4 drops of all 5 oils that you're using. And then within 30 seconds of applying them topically, really anywhere on your body. One of the big concerns that people have is they don't use them because they're concerned they're going to do it incorrectly. When all you have to do is just put them on or ingest the ones that are meant to be ingested, and you'll see the results, and you'll get great results. So as soon as you ingest an oil or apply it topically, the molecules are in your bloodstream, or in our bloodstream within 30 seconds. Systemic, meaning inside every cell in our body within about 5 minutes. And many of the molecules that are found in essential oils will actually cross the blood-brain barrier, where the vast majority of pharmaceuticals do not do that. So from a emotional health standpoint, for like feelings of anxiousness or depressed type feelings, essential oils can be very, very effective because they actually do, the molecules cross the blood-brain barrier. And then lastly, the effects of essential oils last about 4 hours. So if you're using them to help support your body in any physical ailment, or to help treat any type of disease process that you're suffering with, you're going to have to reapply the protocol of oils every 4 to 5 hours. And you're going to do that through all waking hours until your body is better and you're starting to get the results that you want.
Everyone needs to buy a diffuser. Just diffuse it throughout your home. You can get those on Amazon, but get oils. The citrus oils are great, but also oils like frankincense and lavender, which is very soporific, very calming and relaxing, especially at night. The thing is, everyone needs to get a good night's sleep. I don't care what it is, cancer, autoimmunity, depression, anxiety, you need to sleep. If you don't recover, your body's never going to be able to wake up and start the day right. That's one problem people have, is they're chronically in a state of stress, and they never get a chance to recuperate. And that's what sleep is. It gives your body a chance to recover, reset your hormone levels. So sleep is a key. So you need to have a good routine, like not eating after 7 o'clock, don't have caffeine after 5 p.m., start your aromatherapy diffuser maybe around 8 or 9, and just, like my wife and I like to snuggle up and watch a movie after we put the kids to bed, and we like to diffuse some nice oils, just get us nice and relaxed, but we sleep. And lavender, Roman chamomile, vetiver, cedarwood, these are really, petitgrain, these are, even patchouli, these are really good oils to have that you can massage on your abdomen, the back of your neck, give yourself a nice foot rub, put them in your diffuser, but they're great. They're great, just, you gotta find again what works for you. And
to look for high quality. It's important to find essential oils that, even if you're not gonna ingest, and that means like, either you put the essential oil in a capsule and swallow it, or put in a little bit of water and swallow it. Even if you're not going to ingest it, it's important to find essential oils that are high quality that you could. Because essential oils, just like anything you put on your skin, you should essentially be able to eat from a safety standpoint. Your skin is the largest organ of the body. So that's where it's really important as well to look at these personal care products that you're using. I know people that have replaced personal care products with essential oils. The deodorant I wear actually has some essential oils in that, and I stay away from the antiperspirant, aluminum, and even the typical deodorants and antiperspirants that carry, propylene glycol and all these chemicals in there, because remember, when you're putting something on your skin, let alone an armpit that's very absorbent because the pores open up, especially when you sweat, and anything you put on there, your body absorbs it. It's very important that we're looking at all aspects, not only the food we're consuming, but what we're putting on our skin. Personal care products can have so many different toxicities to them, and essential oils can be a replacement or even an alternative when you look down that line. So I love to look at essential oils, especially in the cologne and perfume world, as great alternatives, because when you look at cologne and perfume, you're looking at hundreds of chemicals within one perfume bottle or one cologne bottle. And here's the thing, Jonathan, is these manufacturers don't have to label all the chemicals that actually create this fragrance, and they're all synthetic and man-made and toxic and carcinogenic, and you can react to it, especially if you're sensitive already. You can feel brain fog and have all these issues. They don't have to list them though, because it's proprietary information. So it's very important to know when you purchase something what's in there. And if it's proprietary and it's a cologne or a perfume, chances are you want to put it away. And one of the most challenging things sometimes in this category is actually having your significant other or spouse that will wear perfume and cologne. You might be sensitive and not feel good around it, but they like, well, you don't get it, I want to smell good. So it's about education, and it's about understanding that the typical and conventional perfumes and colognes contain a lot of synthetic chemicals that are damaging to the body. And even if you don't sense or feel symptoms from it right away, that it's still affecting your health. And at some point, typically, the bucket's gonna overflow and then symptoms are gonna come out. So essential oils can be a great alternative to the typical conventional perfumes and colognes as well.
Why do you think there's so much controversy around this subject?
I think it's just misunderstanding and also agenda. So you have to be really careful who you listen to and who you get your health advice from, whether it's you're researching on Google and you're pulling up different bloggers talking about essential oils. You have to be really careful that there's not an agenda there. And you really want to do your own research into the oil company that you're using to make sure that their testing is public, the sourcing of the essential oils is how they should be sourced, and also where the plants come from, because certain plants grow best in certain regions of the world. And like lavender from Bulgaria, Melaleuca from Australia, vetiver from Haiti. So essential oils, the best essential oils come from plants in the best regions. And that gives the potency, which then in turn gives us the results. So if you don't know where your oils are coming from, you probably shouldn't use them. Or if you can't pull up the testing that's been done on that oil, you probably shouldn't use it, because it's a highly adulterated oil typically.
Got it. Mm-hmm. And that can be dangerous, you think?
It's dangerous to ingest them. And it's also even topically, because an adulterated essential oil can contain molecules that are carcinogens, that are hormone disruptors. And so you would never really want to use an essential oil that you don't know the background of. Where did it come from? Has it been properly tested? And you want to make sure you look at those things. I'll just keep using lavender as an example, but lavender has over 200 different molecules in it. Only a couple of those molecules are aromatic. Mm-hmm. So there's 200 molecules, only 1 or 2 are aromatic. So the other 198 molecules we don't even smell, but they influence our physiology and help support different body systems and healing. And you can make that molecule in a lab and it's going to smell like lavender, because the molecule gives off an aroma. The molecule doesn't know if it's been grown in the lavender plant or if it was synthetically made in a lab. It will still smell like lavender. So that's how a lot of people will create essential oils and then sell them for very cheap prices. So you always know if it's a incredibly inexpensive essential oil, typically that can also be a warning sign that maybe I should look into the background of this.
Got it. Mm-hmm. And so it can even say organic and be adulterated.
It can say organic, it can say therapeutic grade, it can even say 100% pure, but that really doesn't mean a whole lot in the essential oil industry.
Why?
They're very unregulated. So one of the ways to really understand that your oils are safe, that they're authentic, is having a food label or a nutrition label on the bottle. If there's a food label on the bottle, that's an oil that's authentic, that is meant to be ingested. One of the main uses of essential oils is by ingesting them. They're incredibly safe. There's tons of research out there where essential oils are actually very protective to our mucosal linings, so our esophagus, our stomach, our sinuses, and they're very protective, where you'll read a lot of things online that will tell you that essential oils and ingesting them is incredibly dangerous, and never do it. And my response to that is you never want to ingest an adulterated essential oil, because then it could be somewhat dangerous. However, when there's a food label on the bottle, you know that that's an authentic oil and it's meant to be ingested. If it doesn't have a food label, that doesn't mean It's not authentic because some essential oils are just not meant to be ingested, like eucalyptus and cedar wood, and some of these other oils are just not meant to be ingested. But the ones that are, if there's a food label on it, you know it's an authentic essential oil. And that's one of the things that is regulated because it's meant to be ingested, so then there has to be a food label on it.
And they don't even think that could change. And that's one thing I get across the board from all the folks that follow us online. They're lost, they're confused, they're like, what do I do? They go to the doctor and the doctor prescribes something. So at the end of the day, one of the most important things that people need to get from this is yes, love yourself enough to do what you need to do, but believe you have the ability to do what you need to do. You have the power. You have the power. I have the power. It's not the government, it's not my doctor, it's not my spouse, it's not my parents, it's not my kids, it's me. I'm accountable. And at the end of the day, everyone listening, everyone watching can rest assured that they have everything they need at their disposal. They have the instinct to know what to do. They have the common sense, let alone the plethora of information online. But just following some of the simple practical tips that we're suggesting and all the other things that all the experts on the documentary are talking about, just implement things that are easy. And that's one thing I want everyone to do, is not to get overwhelmed by all the different stuff. The key that people that I've seen, the lasting success, is like picking a cherry tree or picking a fruit tree. You start with the low-hanging fruit. So you walk around the tree and you just pick whatever you can. And then after you pick that low-hanging fruit, you get a step ladder. And then after 2-3 feet, you get an extension ladder. And next thing you know, you climb 30 feet up. And by that time, the birds got the rest of it. You don't start picking cherries 30 feet up. You start with the easy stuff. That's, folks, whatever it is. So if easy for you is going to the gym, start. If easy for me is putting on some essential oils, great. If easy for someone else is going to counseling, whatever it has to be. But you do it, and you make it part of your existence and your lifestyle. And then you add something else. Like the Bible says, line upon line, precept upon precept. We're adding different skill sets. Next thing you know, I've been doing this for 15 years. It's like, wow. People come up to me and say, Dr. Z, I can never do what you do. You're right. It's been 15 years in the making. Get started. We'll talk in 10 years. I'll get you on the fast track. So don't get despaired. Don't get overwhelmed. It's a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
You've heard how easy it is to use essential oils as a complementary therapy for depression and anxiety. We've seen how these essential oils can help calm the mind and the nerves. There are no fixed formulas when it comes to essential oils, and no essential oil will work the same for each individual. We are all biochemically unique, so finding the ones you love and work optimally for you is all a part of the journey. Be sure to experiment with a variety of essential oils and take them one at a time if you really want to assess how they make your body and your mind feel.
Hi, this is Jonathan here.
And this is Lori.
Thank you so much for joining us with Depression and Anxiety Secrets. It has been such an amazing experience to connect with you all and go through this really important subject area that affects every one of us. And there could be a loved one in your life that's suffering deeply with this. It may be you yourself, and you're looking for answers. You might be in the grips and the throes of depression and anxiety, actually like Lori has been through herself, or somebody that's looking for optimal health in your life where you want to be functioning at your best, and you know there's greater levels of happiness that you could achieve. Certainly that is something that we're committed to, and we want to help you achieve that. And we know that we can, and these tools and resources do help save and change lives. Just below we have 3 different packages that you can take advantage of right now, and we have them at a special saving, and so this is the perfect time to take advantage of that. The silver package is the 8 episodes and also the 2 bonus episodes, 9 and 10. It also comes with the transcripts of the episodes, and it also comes with the 6-module Depression and Anxiety Recovery Protocol, which is a 6-week course that allows you to go through step by step the exact healing protocol that Lori went through, that I went through, and that so many other people in our community have gone through, and we've seen such amazing results from that program. The rewarding part about it that people really, really love is to get on a call each week with our doctors from the series, your favorite experts that you got all these questions. If I could just sit with them and ask a question, well, you can ask live on the call. you can type your question in and get it answered, and it really has such a profound way of helping you in your journey. So, and that also comes with a video for each of the modules, so 6 videos to help you be instructed through that process, and also a written PDF. This is all in digital format for you to download, and you'll get a buddy pass with this, so you can give this to a friend as well, so the both of you can go through it, which we really encourage to share this. Isn't that right, Lori?
Yeah, there's nothing like community, and there's nothing like being able to have resources to share with your family and friends and the people around you after you receive the results that you've received the way that we wanted. The first thing that I wanted to do was just share with everyone, hey, I figured this out. And to be able to share it and be able to have that buddy pass, that extra resource to be able to give to someone is just awesome. And we just want as many people to know about it. And not only that, with the calls, the weekly calls, and there's nothing like community. I couldn't have done it without my community. I couldn't have done it with those that were supporting me and that kept me accountable. And not only that, just helped me to apply the things that I was learning. And I didn't even have all these things. So we want to give you even more than what we had when we were going through these protocols. So
yeah. Thanks so much for sharing that, Lori. And what we have here in the Gold package is everything but in printed format. And you can check on the page here, there's extra things I'm not even going to mention. There's so many other great things you can just read along on the page here. And now in the Gold package, what you'll have is you'll have the ability to take all of this but in a physical printed DVD and booklet and multiple books here. And you'll also get the printed extra set as a buddy pass. So this is a gift for a loved one, or to share among friends, or to lend out to people so you can keep yours on hand. In the Gold package, we have the 55 expert key takeaways. So this is all 55 experts in the series, and we've taken their most important areas of research and informations and findings from their entire interview. We've taken those sections and compiled them down for you to be able to read this in this easy to use and implement booklet with some key action steps to take with each of these great expert interviews. So it's a really great tool to get this Gold package, because it has some of these extra key insights and valuable tools that are available to you. Now in the Platinum package, the Platinum package is both the digital and the physical package. So you'll get both. And that's our best value saving right now, and you'll get it for the same price that you get the Gold one for. And the reason why we wanted to really pack a lot of value in here is so you could share this. It could be a great tool and resource with so many extra things here. Not only will you get the 6 week of calls and the 6 modules, you'll also get the 6 month calls with our experts, so you can go through that long haul in the journey. Sometimes when people start getting fatigue or they get just back to old habits, this is the time when we can keep you on that long haul in that journey and just keep you into the expert community that we have here. Yeah. So it's a great tool.
Yeah, for sure. And my favorite is when I have the actual copies in my hands, because I like to highlight, I like to take notes, I like to look at, I'm the pen and paper kind of person. However, I'm also on the go, and I need to have things convenient. So I like to have it digital as well, to just pull it up on my phone, pull it up on my laptop, be able to just show it to people and have it ready on hand. Sometimes if we're traveling, I can't carry all those books, right? But I have it digitally. So it just allows you more access. It just helps kinesthetically. It helps you learn in different ways. And finally, I love the communities that we have been surrounded by and we've been able to create with our other projects. And there's nothing like community, like I said, keeping each other accountable, keeping each other strong, and keeping each other going. And just, if you have those questions, man, you have like the best people to talk to. And there's nothing like it. And just even keeping each other, uplifting each other as well. So, I mean, this is a really awesome thing to be able to have, something that I sure didn't have. I had it in different ways, but this has been, we have purposely packaged it in a way that it's just all in one place.
You'll also get access to the online portal, which will have all your episodes, the bonus episodes, the MP3s, and you'll also get the 55 full-length expert interviews, so you'll be able to watch the entire interview, both in written form and to watch the video. So you have both of those key tools.
Oh, and did we mention that we're also on the call, so we get to meet you, and we can't wait to meet you, so.
Yep, that's so true. And so take a look at the packages below. Remember, you're fully covered with a 60-day money-back guarantee. We want to make sure that you feel secure in making that purchase. We also want to let you know that our mission is to heal the world, and we want to see people end the suffering in their life, and that's why we're involved in amazing projects across the world, including this Kenya project that we've been committed to, where we're on the ground seeing people's lives turn around as they're battling starvation. And truly, these people need our support, and so we give a generous portion of our proceeds out to this incredible project to help these local people that really need our support. We want to empower you to be a beacon of light, because we're not going to be able to make this change ourselves.
No.
We're certainly not going to be able to touch your family and your friends. They're probably not watching this right now, right? You see what I mean? Like, it's not everyone, but you are that beacon in that place, and you can bring that light to them, but you need to be equipped. You need to know how to express yourself and all the things that you've learned and get that information to them, and that's why we've given these great buddy passes. And I think I forgot to mention that in the Platinum package you'll get the extra printed set, but then you'll also get the extra online set. So as well as your own, so it means that you've got 2 extra things there to share. You can give one friend your digital access and one friend your physical printed set there. And so it's just such a gift, and we want to see you help change lives, because that's when the world will change. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the gift that you are in the world. We look forward to seeing the changes that happen when you take action on this incredible opportunity. Thank you so much. Just click the links below to get started, choose the package that works for you, and I'll see you on the other side.
We love you all.